Make that big boss less special. It ain't no game, but they saying welcome to the second level. Second level. Second level gaming. Second level.
What's up, world, and welcome back to Codename Morpheus.
What episode are we on, Tom?
I don't know. It doesn't matter.
I feel like every week you're like,
I don't bother with the episode numbers. I just know it's new, and we're here, and it's exciting. So this week, we're going to be digging into the world of the virtual to bring you all the best news and sales and all that fun stuff around PSVR and sometimes just VR in general, depending on kind of what dropped that week. So my name is Tom, and my buddy here is Keegan. He's going to dig in with me. And without further ado, let's get moving. So
why did you get all southern there, Tom?
I don't know.
We got this to your first game, which is not a southern game at all. It's a Russian game.
It's a Russian game.
It's a Russian game.
So this is the only real that I mean, at time of recording, again, remember,
the PlayStation stores have an issue.
The PS Store is having an issue because they just released a 5.0 update, which we are going to talk about later. But so right now, time of recording and checking right before we went live, this was only a new PSVR game, and that is Chernobyl VR Project. And this is one that we kind of talked about briefly when they were filming it a couple of weeks back, I want to say.
It's still the only game on
Only game? Okay, good. I watched the trailer for it this morning, and it looked way different to what I was thinking, because I thought it was going to be like one of those like Atomic Ghost Fleet, David Attenborough Control type experiences where you're just basically watching a video and just kind of like learning about Chernobyl. But no, it actually looks pretty heavily interactive. You have this kind of map of Chernobyl, and you can jump from place to place, and you can learn about things while you're there. You have a radiation gauge that you're walking around with.
Like you do in Chernobyl.
Yeah, like you would do in Chernobyl, and it just kind of looks interesting. It looks like they actually put thought into somehow making a game out of it, but it's still kind of like educational. It's still kind of like, here, learn about,
I'm trying to think
the history of Chernobyl.
I'm gonna look up because it was an interesting, when I read it, the blurb, the description underneath it, it had a really interesting. How do you spell Chernobyl? There it is. Chernobyl Diaries? That's not it.
No, that's a movie. It's a good movie, though.
It is.
I do recommend watching the Chernobyl Diaries if you haven't had a chance. Found footage movie about Chernobyl. It's just such a creepy place, isn't it?
Well, yeah. I mean, it had a fucked up problem. It kind of had a meltdown.
Pretty big problem.
So I'm going to read this because it's really good at describing what it is.
Go ahead.
Visit Chernobyl without leaving home. Chernobyl VR Project is a unique project developed by the Farm 51 as it combines video games with educational and movie narrative software. Mm-hmm. It is the very first virtual tour around Chernobyl and Pripyat. It's the area where Chernobyl is.
Pripyat.
I can't say it. Compatible with PlayStation VR headset. Now with PlayStation exclusive content, the roof area nearby the Ark's sarcophagus. So that's new.
Yeah.
For PlayStation only. And then it says, find out more about the nuclear disaster's history and today's exploration of the contaminated zone.
It looks very similar to Apollo 11 in that sense.
So another little Chernobyl fact here. I'm going to knowledge bomb you here.
Yeah, you're a history guy. Go for it.
You can now officially go back into the Chernobyl area, but there is government warning, obviously saying, hey, shit went down here. You probably don't want to be here, but the radiation levels are now acceptable.
Really?
Depending on who you ask.
I would say depending on where you are. Don't they vary dependent on where you are?
I mean, yeah, if you're going to go right where the core exploded, yes, it's not safe. But that town of Pripyat or whatever, however you say it.
You have to say it like you're a Russian guy. Pripyat.
It's Pripyat.
There you go.
But anyways, it's because they evacuated, I think it was like 80,000 people or something because of it. So yeah, that was fun. Most of them didn't realize that was there.
The trailer for it actually kind of, the way they it's a little over. Well, I mean, how do I say this? It's a little overdone. It feels like they are almost Hollywoodizing some of that disaster, and we are forgetting it was a real disaster. There's parts where they say, like, uncover the military secrets, and it shows that you can go to, like, this control room where the nuclear reactor was and all this kind of shit. And it's just kind of like they almost try and dramatize it a little too heavily. And there was enough drama in the fact that a fucking nuclear power station exploded. I don't think we quite needed to do the Hollywood thing too. So, but I've always been massively interested in Chernobyl in general, so I will pick it up and play it because it does look, like they said, like the only chance I'm ever going to get to go to Chernobyl.
That's a pig from Chernobyl. It's a piglet.
Oh, dude, that's terrifying. Okay.
That's on Wikipedia. Look up piglet with Dipugus. There's an exhibit at the the Ukrainian National Chernobyl Museum to show you what a piglet looks like after it's been irradiated.
I might throw it up.
I love.
So this looks good, and even though this is creepy, because I mean you are in Chernobyl, would you play it?
Oh hell yeah!
Yeah.
Part of me,
despite the creepy factor,
because I'm such a history buff. Like, so to me, the
history beats horror for you.
Well, it's not scary, I don't think, is it? Like, there's nothing there that, like, they're not going to jump scare me. You're exploring this place, and it's an educational thing versus
it's more dark,
scaring.
I think, than necessarily jump scary. But I don't know
it's more because from that description, it's more learn about Chernobyl and what it looks like now versus you're not walking down this long hallway waiting for somebody to jump out at you.
They mapped it officially too, because remember when we showed the footage the last time, it was showing the camera guys in Chernobyl that were walking around and getting all this VR footage so that we could do it. So
I love anything that involves history. So I'm especially modern history.
You should play Apollo 11. You'd really enjoy that.
I've almost done it like 3 times. And I just haven't yet.
The only other thing that came out was not a game, but an add-on for Idolmaster. I assume that's how you say it. There's an at in the middle of it, and it looks fucking stupid. Add-on for Idolmaster, which is more music for $8. So if you like Idolmaster, and if you do, bully for you, there's more music that you can buy for that.
Like American Idol, but
outside of it. Yeah, it's Asian Idol. Carx still on sale. So 13 down from 20. Like we said before, that's lasting till 10/10. So if you wanted to pick up Carx, it's a pretty good.
And then
time
on 10/10,
because we'll get into that. Don't worry.
Well, fine. 10/10. I was gonna say we may not be here next week.
We got some stuff.
We don't know yet.
So, as Keegan distinctly pointed out, one of our new segments will dig in a little further, where they're going to be having a 1-year anniversary sale for PSVR, which we're really excited about. However, in parts of Asia, specifically Hong Kong, they're already doing that. So it's not the biggest sale in the world ever, but the prices are quite significantly dropped on a lot of VR titles that are English. So let me run through the list with you and the percentages. So if you hop on over to the Hong Kong store right now, and you should know how to do that by now if you've been watching our channel.
If not, there's a
link. It's always a link. PlayStation VR Worlds, which is the experience with Ocean Descent and London Heist and Danger Ball and all that stuff. That's 50% off right now, so that's a hefty drop. Farpoint, 20% off. Drive Club VR, 50% off. Rush of Blood, 50% off. Starblood Arena, 20% off. Static, 30% off. Dying Reborn Bundle, 60% off. Weeping Doll, 60%. Pixel Gear, 60%. Gunjack, 50%. Here They Lie, 50%. Starstrike Ultra, 50%. And Tumble VR, 50%. So pretty big chunks of change that are knocked off those. And remember, these are English games. You just buy them from a different store. So if you're looking to save a little bit, you will get burned a couple dollars on buying a PSN card for the Hong Kong store. But if you are planning on going like a VR sales blitz, there are some there. Or you could just hang around until next week and see what the US store comes out with. But just a heads up on that sale. The only other thing internationally which is worth mentioning is that Megaton Rainfall has a 20% off PS Plus pre-order bonus for the UK store. So if you pre-order Megaton Rainfall, you're getting it for $10.40 instead of 13
pounds.
Pounds, yeah. So that's fine, I guess. It's not a huge.
It's a pre-order sale. It's not a.
Yeah, it's just a PS Plus pre-order thing. Yeah. So that being said, those are the sales that are here this week. Now, next week, there will be a megaton of sales. We'll try and cover it in some size, shape, or form, but we're not entirely sure if we're getting to do podcasts next week. We have some stuff going on, so we'll just kind of see how that works.
Got our real-life jobs.
Got real job stuff to do. But we'll find something to fill the time. We always do. So let's dig into the news, which is always the most important part of the show. And I'm going to start it off with a brand new update that came last night of time of recording, and that was PS4 5.0 update is now live.
Mine installed at 4:19 this morning.
Oh, yeah, mine was 3 a.m. It was weird.
Well, you beat me then.
Yeah, my PlayStation likes me more because I don't.
It's because you spent $100 more for it.
I don't cheat on it with Xbox. So
that's a lie. You're saying you want to play Cuphead.
The PSVR updates that are involved in that are minimal. You have the virtual surround and the chat notifications in headset. So if someone's talking to you,
I do want to say one of the things that, not specifically to PSVR, but is really, really cool. We have folders for games and now folders for friends. So if you have people that you play PSVR games with, like I have friends that I've added from playing Werewolves or playing Star Trek, that I'm like, oh, I want to play with those guys again because I had a good time with them. You can now put them in their own collection and be like, these are my PlayStation friends, or these are my Star Trek friends, or my whatever friends. So that's kind of cool. I was excited about that.
Also, if you're a pro owner, you can now stream to Twitch with 1080 60 FPS, which is kind of cool.
Cool. If your internet can handle
Directly
it.
from
If your internet can handle it.
If your net can handle it. So here's a little bit about the specifics on the PSVR portions of that whole update. Of course, if you click the link in the description below, you'll get all of the news, but we just wanted to focus on VR here. So they've added a new setting in PlayStation VR. It's called Display Message to Spectators and Spectators' Comments. Once it's enabled, spectator comments sent during a broadcast are displayed not only in the cinematic mode, but also in VR mode. So you'll be able to read comments and interact with spectators from within your PSVR headset.
That's good. That means we can stream PSVR games now. Because the problem before was we'd have to pop the headset off to look.
We'd have to do it directly from the PlayStation, though, right? Yeah. For that to work.
Yes.
Okay. That makes sense.
I mean, that'd be way easier to do it, though.
And the other thing is virtual surround sound on PSVR. So PlayStation VR now supports 5.1 channel and 7.1 channel virtual surround sound through your headphones when watching Blu-rays and DVDs in cinematic mode, making for an even more immersive viewing experience, which is just cool. It's a nice update. It's a nice one. Nice. It's not everything, you know. We're not we were hoping for more, but I mean, they promised it. They gave it to us. That's all we can ask for.
I love that the first two bits of news, by the way, are the ones I sent you.
Yeah, because these were
heavy hitters.
You helped me out. I was struggling for some.
I had a couple. There's one more down below that I sent as well.
That's true.
But
I mean, it's almost like we do this together.
Almost.
So,
well, I find something. I was like, oh, this is something Tom probably know for the show, and I'll just send you a link without description. Like, here you go.
So Andrew House, big boss man at PlayStation, who we were talking about.
Who I like.
Yeah, he's a nice guy.
I liked him.
Yeah, English guy.
I liked him on stage. I can't remember the dude's name that was at the E3.
Jack.
I'm not a fan of him. No, the guy who's at E3 now.
The old guy used to be at E3 was fucking awesome.
The guy they do now, where he just comes up and here's PlayStation. I like Andrew House and I like Shuhei.
Yeah,
I want those two people. I want those two people on stage.
But Andrew House has left as a PlayStation boss, and interestingly enough, his replacement oversaw the release of PSVR, which is why I'm bringing this piece of news up in here. So the guy that he is being replaced with is the guy that oversaw several actually like big releases when they first came out. I'm going to try.
Was one the PlayStation TV when one was the Vita? Because this track record then is not very good.
No, actually, the ones that are doing pretty good right now. So the launch of the PlayStation Vue, the PlayStation Now, and PSVR. So all of those are doing okay. PlayStation Vue is actually picking up a lot of steam.
Now would be the only of those three. Now would be the one that I'm kind of like.
That's touch and go.
Yeah,
but there's still plenty of room.
Vue. I know people who've asked me about Vue that I didn't even know had a PlayStation.
Yeah,
like it's like, oh, why do you? Because cutting the cable
looks okay.
As of right now, I think it's the best streaming service for channels.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I'm lesser like stoked on things like PlayStation Vue, but the fact that this guy has oversaw, his name is Codera. I'm not sure what the first name is, so I very much apologize for that. But it says the new CEO Codera has been with Sony since 1992 and worked on services for the PlayStation Network since 2010, overseeing the launch of PlayStation Vue, PlayStation Now, and PSVR. He said that it's a great honor to take on the role of president and CEO of SIE, and I'm very grateful to Kaz and Andy for the trust and faith they have shown in me. I intend to build on the amazing progress Andy has made, enhancing the PlayStation brand and expanding the game and network service business, and will strive to further strengthen the unique value proposition we are able to offer via the PlayStation platform. I look forward to working together with the SIE team and everyone across the Sony group to continue to strengthen relations with our business partners and provide the best possible interactive entertainment experiences that only PlayStation can deliver. So a bit of PlayStation spiel in there, a bit of Sony spiel, but more importantly, Andrew House gone. New guy is big on PSV.
Andrew House didn't say where he was going when I read the article.
He hasn't said yet. But I mean, honestly, dude could retire. He's probably fucking loaded.
I mean, yeah.
God, I wish we had a cough button. Can we get that? We can get cough buttons, right? Like
you're the one who ever coughs.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Still, for me. So that I thought was interesting. And then Sony announces PSVR 1-year anniversary sale on October 10th, which is what we were just sort of talking about a bit previously. Around that time, you'll find that the PlayStation VR has hit its 1 year. Now, what are we thinking about that in general? Like, what's our...
I mean, it made it 12 months. That's what it means.
Right? That's cool.
I mean, there's another piece of news that I want to say, but I'm going to wait till we get to it. But
Sure.
it's cool. I think it's about where people expected it to be, maybe a little bit higher than where people expected it to be. It's not lit the world on fire, and I never thought it would, because like I've said a long time now, is price is holding a lot of people back from it.
Yeah.
It's a great experience, but
And
price,
for the cheapest one, that's cheapest real one.
Yeah.
That's still saying
Price
something.
is holding it back, and also people, first generation of anything, people wait for whatever's next. So like, I mean, there's a prime example right now that the Apple Watch 3 is finally selling more because people are like, oh, I'm gonna wait till they get it right before I buy, which makes sense. Again, if you're investing $400 to $500,
Yeah.
makes sense. But the people like us that support it, I feel like we're here holding up the foundation, be like, hey, go get as much shit as I've given Sony for it. It's because the reason I kind of play devil's advocate a lot is because I care a lot about the platform and I want it to succeed.
You love them.
I wouldn't say I love them. I will call them out on their shit, but I also want them.
That's
to
why
succeed.
we never get hired as hosts as PlayStation blogcast.
I mean, it's good being honest.
That's true. So the PlayStation blog came out and said, also, we're celebrating PlayStation VR's 1-year anniversary in October. To commemorate, the PlayStation Store is offering a ton of games at great discounts. Check out the PS Store October 10 for more details. And don't forget that Riggs Mechanized Combat League is free for all PS Plus members until November 7. So go download that if you haven't already done so. That was a smart move, because that was a dead game, and now that game is popping. There's a lot of people that are still playing it now, especially since it's free. A lot of people that maybe weren't sure because the demo for it wasn't necessarily the greatest.
In the kind of funny Facebook group, people are like, Riggs is actually pretty good. And
It's
I was
a
like,
good game, man. It's a first, like.
I think the reason it probably didn't. I bet you the reason it didn't do so well initially was one of the few $60 games at launch.
And the motion sickness.
Yes, that's what got me.
I think it was 50 actually at launch, but still, the motion sickness was. It was hardcore. Like, if you jumped in that suit, you were like, oh god, there goes my guts. Like, so once since now a lot of people have got their legs, then it's a lot easier for them to play, and it was one of those ones that just kind of got lost in the shuffle from all the other new games that were continuously coming out for it.
And shutting the team down didn't help the situation either.
That definitely did not help. All right, so next up, really fun news for me because I really love this game and I want to get back into it. The Solace Project, which we had a giveaway going last week. By the way, I'd like to thank everybody for their entries to that giveaway.
We had paragraphs.
Yeah, we had paragraphs. They were good ones. There wasn't a whole lot of them, which surprises me because it's a free game. So, but for those of you that did tune in and give us your thoughts, then that's great. We will be picking a winner and announcing it separately to this show. Don't worry, you don't have to finish through the whole.
We want to get in touch with the person first.
We're going to get in touch with the person first. But with that in mind, the Solace Project is getting a pro patch and a smooth rotation option in an update that's coming out.
So Tom hates this.
I fucking love this.
He hates
Now
this.
remember,
he's like, everything should have incremental rotation.
Remember, though, this is not the DS4. This is smooth rotation with the moves. So I got used to using the moves for moving around in that game, but the one thing that always kind of pissed me off was the fact that the rotation was incremental. Because I hate not being able to just move to a straight line and to have to, I would, overshoot it, then I'd be, crap stepping across a bridge or something. It was just weird. So...
crab walking.
I was just walking sideways because I didn't know how to turn it back. So someone reached out to the team recently and they got the message back. Hello, thank you for getting in touch with us. We are glad that you enjoyed the game so far and we apologize for the issues. We are currently working on a patch that will include several improvements, among them better visuals on PSVR for PS Pro and a smooth rotation control option. We are in the process of testing the patch and if everything goes according to plan, we are expected to be released in the beginning of next week. So there you go. That's going to be fun, I think, and that'll make that game a lot easier to play. I'm really excited about that. Any thoughts? You haven't played it yet, have you? Dude, you should do it. You'd love it.
Yeah.
It's the survival elements. So, Special Forces VR gets a real name.
I hate this name.
Like a real boy.
I hate this name.
Well, there's a reason why.
I know, but I hate it. Go ahead and do your spiel, and I'll tell you why I hate it. I'll pay Debbie Downer once you're done with your spiel.
All right, so... Special Forces VR was a shit name, let's be honest.
Yes.
That was super generic. So now they're calling it Zero Killed. So here's the spiel from those guys. Dear fans, we've got a bunch of news for you. We decided about the official name for our game, previously Special Forces VR. Was, as we stated some time ago, only temporary. We've long been searching for one that would give something more, and we think we have found it. The new title is inspired by a saying that was used by soldiers after return from a mission, and it meant no loss during the battle. Many sources claim that in writing terms OK and O.K were used with reference to that. We named the game
It would be
Zero
0K.
Killed.
So zero. No, that's not an O.
Zero
First
K.
one,
Okay.
0K.
And also, we decided to reward players that esteem the life of themselves and others, rewarding them each time they get their team to win without a single life being taken. So it's Zero Killed, but the OK, like it's like 0 and then K-illed in the picture. I'm sure you can see it, and that's kind of what they went for. So why are you not a fan of that?
It just sounds super generic. I like that. I like
Zero
that there's
Kill
story
sounds
behind
better
it.
than Special Forces VR.
Yeah, but it's a working title.
Yeah.
I mean, that's fine for me. But like, I don't know. It just sounds super generic. I would have been like,
even knowing the background.
even if they just called it OK, and then had like the subheading of something.
Or 0K or something.
Yeah, like I don't know. It just Zero Kill. Just something about it. And as soon as I saw it, I was like, that. I'm not a fan of that name. Doesn't mean the game's not good. Just means I don't like the name.
Okay.
So that's what I'm gonna state there.
So you're saying you don't like the name because you don't like the name.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
I could like the game. I just don't like the name.
All right. So, following up from that, a few quick ones for you. The Exorcist Legion. Yay, Legion. Got a VR trailer that is not specifically highlighting any gameplay whatsoever, but it is still really spooky. And basically, it just came out and saying that they're making an Exorcist game for VR, so we can assume it to be rightfully quite terrifying, I would imagine. But it's interesting. I mean, I'm assuming you've never seen any of the Exorcist movies?
Nope.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, it's The Exorcist VR, pretty good fit, I would say, if they can pull it off right. As long as it's not some weird like experience thing and it's actually a fully fledged game, I'm alright with that. And then you have Star Rage VR space FPS that looks pretty promising too, has released some stuff. And now Star Rage has got a little bit of controversy around it because Star Rage looks an awful lot like Seeking Dawn, which is another VR title that's in the works right now. And it also has kind of a similar title to it if you think about it. And weirdly, it says the first title from Metaverse, a name strangely familiar to Multiverse, the developers of the strikingly similar Seeking Dawn. So even the company name is kind of similar there. They transport you to a distant planet to do battle with wild primitive aliens. You play as one of the team of Pathfinders looking for new worlds for humanity to colonize, now on the hunt for your missing team.
Can we stop going to space?
What's wrong with
It's
space?
another damn space game.
But it's an alien shooter.
It doesn't matter. It's still in space. Bring the aliens to Earth.
Welcome to Earth.
Destroy all humans. Brought aliens to Earth.
That's true.
So I don't know. I've said it many times. I'm done with.
I saw the trailer.
Tired of space games.
And I was not hugely impressed. Here's why. The graphics look great. The gameplay looks shit. The gameplay just seems to be like a gallery shooter style. It's not. I know it's not. It's free roam. But it's just like every time they're shooting, it's like shoot all the things. There's like 100 enemies. It's almost too arcadey to feel like you're actually immersed. And I hate the arcadey feel if you're not going for it. Like Dick Wilde was going for arcadey. This is going for realism, but showing off as arcadey. So I'll hold my judgment.
I just space games. The good ones need to come up, and these other ones just need to go away, and they need to figure out some other place to.
I'm like
to make
more
a game.
games the better, man. Like the more games the better.
Yeah, but that means more shit. Yeah. Look what happened to the Wii. Look how much shovelware ended up there. I don't want PSVR to become a shovelware place for people to just dump stuff because they can.
That's fair.
That's me caring about the platform again, Tom.
Okay.
Sorry about yours,
something
guys.
else I learned just by browsing r/PSVR, which I thought was worth mentioning, is that if you were lucky enough to get your hands on a classic SNES from
SNES
Nintendo,
Classic.
the SNES Classic, whatever.
It's the official name.
Then you can play it with PSVR. Yes, you heard right. You can play your SNES and your PSVR headset. Apparently, you just have to set up the headset like normal, take the HDMI that would typically go from the PS4 plug, that sucker into the SNES, and turn on the headset and the PS4, keep the USB plugged into the PS4, and then put on the headset. So it's a unique way to pull it off. I'd like to thank all the users in r/PSVR for figuring that one out. But yeah, a little bit of a HDMI swap, and you got yourself some Mario 3 or whatever in your VR headset. You can kick back and enjoy the retro nature. Now, I don't know exactly like if it adds anything to the experience.
It doesn't, because it wasn't designed for it.
I wouldn't think so. It's more just like cinema mode for your SNES, which is kind of cool. So, and again, this is not something you'd be able to do with the original SNES because no HDMI. So worth pointing out.
Unless since you modded it. Then
With the HDMI
that'd be
cable?
interesting to see.
That would be interesting to see. Okay, and then so here's where we get into the two more interesting pieces of news that kind of came out of nowhere in the last day or so. They're making a new PSVR headset. Kind of.
They're refining it.
They're refining it. Yes, they are updating the model. So basically, they're
this
just
is not
doing,
PSVR 2.
No, it's not PSVR 2. It's an incremental update to the existing unit to try and help with a few things that they wanted to tweak, and so here you go. So a hardware update to PlayStation VR is being prepared. The new version, excuse me, I'm like just all over the fucking place right now.
This is from the Sony. This is from the Sony blog, by the way.
Yeah, Sony
this
blog.
Is straight from the horse's mouth.
From the horse's teeth.
So this is official.
The new version, model number CUHCVR2,
rolls right off the tongue.
Features an updated design that enables the stereo headphone cables to be integrated with the VR headset and a slimmer, streamlined connection cable. There's also an updated processor unit that supports HDR pass-through, enabling users to enjoy HDR-compatible PS4 content on a TV without having to disconnect the processor unit in between the TV and the PS4 system. This function can only be used when the VR headset is turned off. So they haven't really said anything about when it's coming out yet. Is there any way
Paris
you can tell?
Games Week is coming.
That's true. Is there any way I can tell the difference when I'm in a store and I'm trying to buy one? Apparently the packaging for the new PlayStation VR will be slightly changed when it comes out, and of course there is different model numbers as well.
I'm assuming that this will just become the standard headset that gets released.
I think so. Also, the product image on the packaging will be updated to show changes on the new model, like the integrated headphones on the VR headset. If I already own a PSVR, can I swap out my old processor unit with the updated one? What do you think?
Nope. This is a controversial issue about this whole thing.
Correct, because the cables of the blah 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 and the blah 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 are different. You cannot swap the processor units.
So you have to buy a whole new unit if you want to get that HDR goodness.
Are the PSVR models I already own compatible with the new model? Yes, all of them are, and if they weren't, fuck you. But they are. What is PlayStation VR and how much does it cost? You know the answer to that question, everyone. And
it just goes into generic questions from that point
yeah,
forward.
general stuff from that point, but those were the big changes. So, yeah, so there's a new PSVR on the way.
I'm going to say this, a couple things here.
Go for it.
One, about fucking time. Big complaint I had is why would you release the PS4 Pro that supports HDR and not release at almost the exact same time a VR headset that supports HDR?
Yeah. I got no argument.
That's dumb. Second problem I have is those of us who own a PS4 Pro and a Gen 1 or Model 1, whatever you want to call it, the Model A of the PSVR, the fact that we can't swap out because you changed your fucking cables and can't switch it out for a new box so you can get HDR is bullshit too. So I'm happy they're making it for people who are buying it going forward. People who have it and they have a PS4 Pro, and maybe they bought the PS4 Pro because it was better for VR, kind of like you did, or maybe they have an HDR TV that they hate unplugging that damn box from. Like, that kind of sucks because you have to sell. Sony basically say, if you go to somebody, it's like, how do I upgrade? You got to sell your unit online. Who knows how much you'll get for it? And then from there, you got to buy the new one and use the cost difference.
Use all them physical discs that I got to sweeten the deal.
That you'll get $2 out of. Yeah. But no, I wish there was. I would have been a lot cooler with this if you could just switch the box and use the existing headset. Yeah. It's cool they redesigned the cables, I'm assuming they made them smaller and thinner, all that kind of stuff.
I've been having a few problems with my HDMI cables. I get the occasional like flickering black screen and stuff.
Oh, I've had
I got to wiggle.
No issues with mine. The only issue I have is me stepping on it.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's my complaint.
Do you think there's anyone out there that was holding back for these particular updates, though?
I think there are people that are pissed about it, but those people I think already own the headset.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think anybody was holding back for it.
Yeah, I don't think these are like now I should get it.
But this is future-proofing going forward, so then it won't be a pain in the ass when they're like, hey, like I said, if you're on the market right now for PSVR, wait for this unit to come out because it makes the most sense, especially if you're getting a PS4 Pro or when the PS5 gets announced in 2018 and comes out in 2019.
Do you know what else there is that you could wait for that's everyone's just been waiting for the longest time?
I don't think they've been waiting for this.
They've
been waiting for something else.
Finally updating the moves. I'm just kidding. They're changing two things about the existing moves. There's no Move 2.0.
There's no joysticks.
No joystick.
This is that picture you're like, whoa, so excited to have. I want this to be it. So they're like, haha.
Improved Move controller with micro USB charging port and better battery life announced. It is the same old Move with a slight update to battery and the charging cable, which is just, it kind of feels like being spat on from a great height.
I'm with the good old Chester Chesterton here.
Yeah.
This worries me. Why would they come out with a new vanilla Move with different USB port if they're also working on new moves with sticks? This makes me think maybe they aren't working on new moves, and that would really suck.
Yeah, so
good job, Chester Chesterton from Reddit.
Always, there is controversy around the PlayStation Move.
I will say, I am happy that it's now one charger. The controllers, the DualShocks use micro USB, which I use the thing to plug it into.
Yeah, I used to get fed up of swapping them out.
But the fact that it's one charger is, again, people who are buying that HDR headset and are buying some moves because they're getting into. I think right now. And this is going to sound weird because of how hard I've been on Sony the last month and a half. But this holiday, I think this is setting themselves up for this holiday season. Paris Games Week's coming up. I don't know if we're going to talk about it in the news, but Paris Games Week's coming up. I'm actually excited to see if they announce something that will just fucking blow your mind. Because this is Sony gearing up to make a push for VR. And I think it's because, A, they have manufacturing down. So they have units coming out and meeting demand. And B, there's a lot more buzz around VR than there was, I would say, a few months ago where people were like, we can't get units. Is that good? Is that bad? How many has Sony sold? And it's everything coming out now, for the most part, is good news. And all this is not...
Have you noticed they've ramped up their advertising, too?
Yes.
Yeah.
So this isn't bad news unless you own existing things. And we just like to bitch about stuff, which I'm really good at. But...
You know what? I'm not bothered. Like, if I looked at it and there was something I really wanted in there, or that, like, let's say I had a 4K TV and I was fed up of unplugging it, I'd be annoyed.
Or an HDR TV.
Yeah, or HDR. Let's say that... I mean, I am annoyed I have to swap out the thing to charge my Move, but it's not like...
Yeah, but they have alternatives to that, so I have a stand that I can plug the moves into. So, like, I can charge both moves, and then I can charge my controller at the same time.
So, I mean, battery life is a thing, but, it's...
Yeah.
It's just, like, there's nothing here that makes me upset.
And again,
the question actually involves a lot of these things, so we'll maybe hold off on.
But if you're into future proofing, like this is them with this in conjunction with the headset makes sense.
If I bought these updates though, and then PSVR 2 came out, then I would be pissed off. So
I don't think that's happening.
But I'm not there yet.
I don't think that's happening.
So, moving on to the spotlight
I was
for
happy
this week.
About something. You happy? I looked on the bright side of things.
I played a game this weekend that I was not intending to play. I was really hyped up and ready to go to show you Everest VR because it had just come out in the Australian store, so we were like, cool, it's not even in the US yet, let's put it together. And I sat down there ready to fire it up and record some footage, and what did I get? Please enable HDCP to play this title.
Which HDCP, if you don't know, is High Bandwidth Digital Content Protection. It is a form of digital copyright protection developed by Intel Corporation to prevent copying of digital material, audio, or video content that travels across connections.
It's a giant fuck you to streamers and YouTube in general, is what that is. But that's okay.
It's a DRM.
It's DRM for games, and basically the types of games that normally that normally imply this method are games that are like, if you could just sit and watch them, then you'd never get the game because they're mostly experience based. So there's things like, like the David Attenborough experience, Control, things like that. Those the Ghostbusters one, because the Ghostbusters was just a short story.
Ghostbusters.
I still haven't played that.
If it has HDCP, we're pretty much not playing it.
It's like
Everest, though, I've been hearing really good things about.
Yeah, I know. So I'm going to play it just to play it for me, maybe talk about it on the show, but I can't get footage for it, so it kind of sucks for us. So instead, I found another game in my library that I purchased recently that I haven't touched yet. I'd been waiting for a friend of mine to come over and play it with me because he was really excited about it, but I got desperate this week for content, and this is what I ended up with. And let me tell you, it is powerfully uncomfortable for me to play this type of a game, so consider yourself lucky that I did this.
Tom got a blowjob in VR.
I didn't do that.
He fed some chick in VR, and she's like, nom, 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 I want you now.
I did do that. So, yes, Summer Lesson, the game that we've been talking about pretty much since the launch of the PSVR. It always comes up in bits
You've been talking about because you're a weird Japanese person.
I like weird Japanese.
Well, you like weird Japanese. You're not a weird Japanese person.
But they always have
like
awesome news around it. And I mentioned it in the review for the game, but there's every time we got news about summer lesson, it was weird. It was just like, you know, oh, you can now buy a $260,000 life-size Hikari Miyamoto doll that some dudes like just were like losing their fucking minds over, and then they were like, oh, now you can play this game with a blonde American girl. So isn't that going to be more fun?
You gotta fit everybody's taste.
Yeah, you gotta help all the tastes. But so there's 3 girls like in the full version of this game, but in the Hong Kong version, which is the only current English language version available, it is just the one.
And English is subtitles only.
And the English is subtitles only. She's still speaking in Japanese, but the English is subtitles, so you know what she's saying.
Yeah, cool.
And her name is Hikari Miyamoto. So basically,
is that Shigeru Miyamoto's daughter?
It could be. Here's the way this game breaks down.
It's me, Mario.
They don't explain it a whole lot to you at the beginning of what you're doing. They just kind of throw you in the deep end, and you're like, oh, I'm a tutor for this girl now. That's what I'm doing. So you get a phone call from
I've seen this porn before, Tom.
Tokyo headquarters, and they're like, we've had a request for you to train this girl. She's not doing very well in school, and she has to pass her grades, so they hired you as a tutor. Create a schedule for her. You'll be with her for 7 days.
Tell me this does not sound like a porn. Like,
it does a little bit.
It definitely is a porn plot.
A little bit. So here's the thing. It has cute moments, and it has gross moments, and that's the weird borderline that it walks, because the actual core mechanic of the game is this. Every day you wake up, you make a lesson plan for Hikari, you go to her house or a venue, and then you
sleep with her, and then you do...
You don't sleep with her. You're the worst. You say, okay, today we're going to do English, right? And then it says, how would you like her to try and learn? Would you like her to do it like slow and steady? Or stop making puns. Or like do it recite it real fast.
Is there an anatomy class?
Or no.
I'm on a roll right now, guys.
I'm trying to hold it together. I'm trying to hold it together for this stupid fucking game.
I'm done.
So like, you know, and the thing about it is though, it doesn't really tell you like which one is the right one. You just kind of go, okay, let's try that, and then it's like, meh, you suck. Everything. She had a horrible lesson, or you luck out, you get a good one, and she had a great lesson. At the end of the lesson, you get a little virtual stamp, and you stamp on her thing like you did good or you did bad. And then after each lesson, she wants to talk to you, so you also have to build up her social skills.
Afterwards.
I know, right? So you have to build up her social skills by just chatting about whatever to try and help her.
How old is she?
That's the part that I'm creeped out by. She is a child. She's a high school girl.
That's not a child. I mean, depending on if she. So in the U.S., if she is a senior in high school, she's not a child. She's don't legal. Know. If she's under that, they probably go.
She's wearing a school uniform. It's borderline sketchy. Okay, I don't like talking about it, but.
Tom's like, my fantasy just came true.
It was such a weird fucking game, man. It really
love when you play these because it's so fun for me. Between this and the DOA one.
Yeah, DOA. So the thing about Dead or Alive was that, like, that knew exactly what it was. It knew it was this cheesy or ogle at fucking beach volleyball girls game, and it was powerfully uncomfortable. Like, you're basically sat there, but like I say in the review, that's basically like a zoo game. Like, you're not really doing much except for moving a camera angle around and occasionally
staring at
taking
a virtual girl.
And staring at a virtual girl, which is super creepy. But this one, like, you're actually talking to the girl and doing weird things with her, like going to fireworks festivals and eating food off her fork, and she dresses up as a maid for you and feeds you, and you have to feed her.
This really sounds like a plot to somebody's fantasy.
And there's one point that she gets like a mosquito bite on her neck, and she's like, "Oh, I can't do it." So she says, "Get the lotion and put it on my neck." So you're just there in this virtual bedroom of this high school girl, like rubbing lotion on her neck. Like, this is the weirdest fucking thing. The food was the worst.
Can we? I want to do a video where we have you play this. I have your wife in the room with you, and I record both of you together in reactions.
You can have her play it.
I think that'd be hysterical. No, I want to see her reaction to you playing it. That's the part where this comes in.
So, anyways,
was it a good experience? Like, weirdness aside, one of the things I asked you before was like the facial animations on the review don't look that good. But you said in game they looked pretty good.
In game they're great. Like in game, the facial textures, the graphics, all of that was fine. It was some of the best I've ever seen. The fireworks display was spectacular because when you're sat, she's like wearing a kimono and stuff, and she's sat by you, and you're both watching fireworks across a bridge, and the fireworks look really good, but also like they have impact on where you are. So, like, you know, when you're watching real fireworks, when
Yes.
they go off, like, the light around you, like, flashes, right?
Yes.
So it brights up for a second.
That's how light works.
Yeah, but they do that in the game, which is like, no, I wasn't expecting that. I wasn't expecting it to be that level of detail. But, like, you know, if it's a red explosion, then you get, like, a red flash, and you're like, oh, that's actually kind of cool. Like, I liked it. It felt like I was watching fireworks. I dug it. Except for all of our creepy comments while we were doing it. We got to play sparklers. That was fun. Apparently, they hold them upside down. I don't know what that's about.
Safer.
Fuck that. You're going to wiggle them around like crazy.
Well, you realize if you wiggle it this way, that it falls down versus you wiggle it this way, it falls down away from you.
I know what I do with sparklers. So, So in a way, it's a twee game where you get to play as a tutor for a high school girl and you actually genuinely want her to do well in her grades. But the add-on items, like so when you get these add-on items, it's like, if you select this, something happy will happen around this. And like, so like I selected cake. I was like, cool, I'm down for some happy cake activity. And then, so I thought we'd just go get cake or something. No.
And she comes in, puts cake on her, and you get a...
She puts it on her fork and holds it out to you, and it's like, come try it. And you're just like, I'm like shaking my head like, no. If you watch the gameplay footage, you can see my actual reaction of the first playthrough. I'm like, no.
The best part is he knows he's being filmed doing this, obviously.
Yeah, I'm like, this is too weird. And then she's like, like holds it closer. So I was like, fucking hell. So I'm like eating the cake. And then afterwards, she gives you a fork with cake on it, and she just goes, and you're like,
I've seen that face before.
Oh my god. So you just like, you pick it up and you're like, like, it's so...
I don't know if you noticed, but you got the fork stuck in her
creepy.
face when you were done.
That's whatever.
You let go and it was
I
just
wish
sitting
I
there.
could shank her so it
Whoa.
felt like a real game.
Whoa.
But no, it was...
she was a nice girl. She didn't do anything to you.
No, she was sweet, but she was just, you know, she's super forward for a high school girl with a tutor. You're not really anything. You're like an anthropomorphic blob. You're just like a blue thing in a chair. So you have no personality, no clothing, nothing to see, no hands. It's almost entirely controlled through...
You're you, though.
Yeah, well, whatever. The DS4 controller with R2, L2, and...
No moves.
And your head. Like, because you're looking... No moves. You're looking at what you want to select, and then, like, if you stare at it for long enough, then it fills in and does that thing. So, yeah, so summer lessons, you have 7 days to teach this... You have 7 days to teach Hikari Miyamoto how to pass her grades. I played it through. I saw pretty much everything there was to see, and she got a B grade, which I'm like, fuck you, that's good enough.
C's get degrees.
Right. And I think I was done in like an hour. So, lengthwise, and this is a $60 game, mind you, lengthwise not worth it at all. I only picked it up because it was 30% off in the Hong Kong store, and I'd been looking at it, and I just thought it would be really funny for the channel. So eventually we picked it up 30% off, and I played through it, and it was super weird and made me uncomfortable. But I did write a review and record all the gameplay, so you can see how polite of a gentleman I am during this playthrough. That made me feel powerfully weird. But yeah, that was Summer Lesson. And it was undoubtedly one of the most bizarre experiences I've ever had in VR. So, there's that.
Yeah, I could see why.
Yeah, you should play it.
No.
You would love it.
I'm sure I would. Probably too much, though. That's the problem. Not like that.
Like, are we dating now?
Are we? Is this a thing?
So lastly, and to round her up, I have a question for you. And the question kind of revolves around the news from earlier on. So I wrote the question in a very bizarre way, so I'm going to read the question how I wrote it, and then I'm going to rephrase it, okay? Because the question is huge.
Yeah, I was like,
With the small changes announced for PSVR units, do you think that's a good sign of Sony doubling down, or bad because it puts a brand new refresh system further down the pipeline and with no sign of Move 2s? So basically, as we were kind of discussing briefly before, do you think these incremental updates are a good sign that they're still happy and invested, that they even would bother to release one with incremental updates? Or do you think it's a bad sign because it means that the future is further away?
I think it's both. I don't think it's bad that the future's further away, but I think it's a good sign. So I look at this like the DualShock 4. The DualShock 4 got a redesign with the light bar on the top and then better thumb grippy things, I don't call them, the joystick rubbers.
Thumb grippy things.
Like, the joystick rubbers doesn't break as easily. It's weird because, like, I always play with my new controller. It died the other day, so I had to play with one of my old ones. I was like, ooh, this is... It feels greasy.
Both of my controllers for the old one, the rubber wore off.
Yeah, mine didn't. Mine, it just feels greasy, essentially, compared to the new ones. But as I said earlier, this is good for them setting themselves up for people wanting to buy it that are looking for it. Because look at what is happening right now in the world of... I use Apple as an example of a lot of things because Apple is a big company that has a lot of power over what people are into. And Apple just released an Apple TV with HDR. Roku has HDR. What's the other one? Google has one. Google Cast has HDR. TVs with HDR are now becoming standard. And to me, this is more Sony saying, hey, we don't want to fall behind with this technology you're trying to push, because then they'll be playing catch up. This is us trying to get ahead of that curve. So again, they're setting themselves up for this holiday season that hopefully Paris Games Week or PSX are going to announce something that say, hey, we did these updates, and this is why we did these updates, because we have a game coming out that's going to showcase these updates we did to the headset. Or again, I think the Move one, just so you didn't have... because the moves are from PS3.
Yeah.
I think that's what it was. Yeah. Because they just wanted to have one charger. And
because people are using them more now than they were on the PS3, because it's becoming an integral part of most of the games on the PSVR.
So my opinion on it is this is Sony setting themselves up for success. I still think PSVR 2 is way down the pipeline. I don't think it's as I've said before, I think PS5 will be announced at E3 2018, released 2019, and then PSVR 2 will be 2020.
I respectfully disagree.
I mean, I'm going to stick behind what I've been saying since day one.
I know. It's in somebody's calendar somewhere.
That's how I feel is going to happen. The reason being is because Xbox One X is going to come out. Sony's going to... The people who care about the graphics side of things, especially with 4K TVs coming down in price and with HDR and all this kind of stuff, like... It'll make a big difference having that power to make the games look better. Because unlike TV shows or movies or whatever, like, fidelity on those are already set in place because you're not creating something. You need some sort of powerhouse to run a virtual world. So that's where I think the Xbox One X, not now, and I don't think it's worth it yet, but when 4K and HDR TVs, because you said your next TV is going to be 4K. My next TV will be 4K. When they come down, they're like $600-$700 now. When they come down to... Hell, you can buy a 1080p TV for like $150 now.
Yeah.
Like, it's crazy. When they start getting down, not to necessarily that far, but when they start getting down to where that's...
reasonable.
It's all... Every TV's going to be 4K HDR. That's when I think the next jump for PS5 is going to happen, and that's when Sony, I think, will do the next version of PSVR, because they'll have more power to work with, they'll have better fidelity, they'll be able to use a higher display panel inside the headset, they'll understand what they're doing.
And remember, there's consistently updates being made to things like graphics processors and processors in general, so it's probably they're probably just waiting for a lot of improvements in that area too, so they can put out the type of power that they want to be able to put out. I hope they figure out a way to...
I mean, the 1080 can do it easily.
I just want them to reduce away
the NVIDIA 1080.
The screen door. I just want that to be less.
Yeah, that's going to be the hardest part.
Yeah.
That's going to be the hardest part.
But that'd be nice.
Yeah, I agree.
And maybe something like wireless, like we said, where you don't have to worry about the cables.
Yeah, that's a long way away.
They suck.
Because you can have latency.
I know. Just a fella can dream, can he?
He can, but his dreams are also 20 years down the road. Maybe not 20, that's an exaggeration, but...
Technology moves fast.
But what do you think?
I don't know, man. I'm kind of with you.
Because you're a fanboy and you want Sony to release the new version, and
I do. I want the new version to come out, but
do you really want a new version, or do you want a new version of moves?
I wanted a new version of moves, definitely.
I don't think that's happening now.
It would work existingly with the current PSVR unit. PSVR 2, I'm happy to wait on because A, it's probably going to be crazy expensive, and I already have this one, so I'd like this unit to last as long as possible. The update, when I read about it, I was like, man, they're updating it, and then I read like the actual updates, and I was like, you know what, I can live with that. Like, again, the pass-through doesn't do anything for me because I don't have a 4K or HDR capable TV, and like the audio stuff doesn't do anything for me. I'm fine just using my headset.
Yeah, you have the golds, I have the platinums. Like,
yeah, so I've never, like, none of these incremental updates are things that would make me even consider trading it in and getting it replaced with this newer model. Now, with like the Pro versus the regular PS4, there was enough going on there to make me go, okay, that's worth it.
Unlike me, because I'm like, I don't have a 4K TV.
And you're doing fine, and you know, it's but it's one of those things where I'm just kind of like, I'm torn because I'm really pissed off about the Move news. If that does mean they're not working on it, I still 100% believe they're working on it. I still 100% believe they are. I think they're working
I think they're R&D in something. As I've said before, I don't think it's ready. I think they're researching, but because they'd be dumb if they're not. But I don't think it's going to be consumer product. I will state right now, it will not be consumer product in 2017. And if it is a consumer product at any point in time, we will see it at either E3 or PSX next year. If we don't see it by then, I think it's not a thing.
I think due to the sheer shocking amount of rumors around this unit, from developers spilling their guts to other people like saying, oh, we have this new peripheral from Sony, like all the news that we've covered over the past couple of weeks.
But these are new peripherals.
No. But these are like, you have to know there's a difference, because they've always talked about the new ones as having better control options as opposed to better battery life. That doesn't mean shit. So I still think it's in the works. I still think we'll potentially see something about it this year, probably PSX. I don't think we'll see it at Paris Games Week. Like you had said previously in the day, I think we'll see some big stuff there. I think for sure Detroit.
We need to see some big. We need to see some big IPs that are PSVR compatible.
Yeah.
I mean, Skyrim obviously is coming out, but
there's still a lot of talk about them potentially.
I mean, we still haven't heard
Detroit
about
VR.
I mean, sidetrack here. Paris Games Week.
Yeah.
What PSVR games did we see at E3 that we've not heard anything else about? Pretty much all of them at this point, right? Bravo Team we've heard a little bit about, but nothing officially from Sony.
Yeah.
Because it does it have a release date? I don't think so.
November-ish,
Oh.
I think.
So that might be a time to say, hey, here's some new gameplay of it. And actually, because they just did a trailer last time, if I remember, it wasn't a gameplay.
Yeah, it was. Well, it was a little bit of both, I think.
Yeah, well, yeah, but it wasn't like a game, like somebody with a headset on playing the game.
No.
Which I'd love to see that. Moss is another game.
Yeah.
Skyrim, I'm sure we'll see more of that, because that would make sense.
You know what's weird with that? So they've had this
Doom.
demo for Skyrim for so long that they've been showing at all these venues where they've not yet released it on the store to get feedback.
They never do that because they're promotional builds versus.
Yeah, but I feel like of all the games in the world that need the best amount of feedback, that this is one.
Well, no. So there's a difference between a booth demo and a playable demo on the store. A booth demo, 9 times out of 10, somebody is there with you, guiding you through where you can and cannot go.
Gotcha.
Versus a playable demo, they have to build the world out a little bit more. So it's a vertical slice.
Invisible walls and stuff.
Yeah, it's a vertical slice versus something like that. So that I'm guessing that's why.
Yeah.
So we've got Skyrim, we've got Doom. We've got Moss. We've got Bravo Team.
A couple other ones.
And then what was that? Impatient. But that one we know a lot about, that it's coming out. It's had trailers that have come out and all that kind of stuff. So I think that one's gonna be released. It'll kind of be like, hey, here's another thing for it, but it's already on the way out.
Pre-order bonus.
I think it's ready. I think it's ready to go. I want them to do a big IP. I want them, I keep saying Uncharted, but I don't know if that would work. But like, I want them to go with one of their big IPs that they have, and pull a Batman on it, and just say, hey, it's not a full game, but this is us showing you and showing you we're testing the waters with these IPs, because these games are going to take longer because it's a bigger name.
London Studio could pull something interesting out in that manner. They did such a good job with like London Heist and stuff that I would love to see them just do like VR DLC for like Horizon Zero Dawn, or for Uncharted, or for something,
just something big.
Last of Us,
because that to me, because Sony, I feel like Sony has not put their they're scared to put their big IPs on PSVR, and understandably so, because theoretically it could taint the.
Everyone's going to assume it's going to be great, and it might not be.
It could taint the franchise.
Yeah.
But I think right now a good franchise to do it with would be Uncharted, because I think Uncharted, in my opinion, is done. I think they're not going to make any more mainline games.
They used that to promote the Vita.
They just played The Lost Legacy.
Yeah. And
I would love for them to do that, because everybody knows Uncharted. Naughty Dog's going to be working on whatever the next thing. They're working on Last of Us now, too, obviously. But I'd love to see what that next IP they're going to run with is. So I would love if Sony, perfect world, Sony goes to Naughty Dog and says, make us a PSVR game. But I don't think that's going to happen.
It might.
Because they have more money invested in getting them to sell games, because their game sells the console, which then.
But they could always have a slight smaller team breakaway, or hire more members to the team.
Yeah.
And then be like, you guys focus on VR, just hire people specifically that make VR
but
games.
I also
introduce them to the Naughty Dog like character builders and things like that.
I also don't get my hopes too high for Paris Games Week and be let down.
I don't think anything special is going to happen at Paris Games Week. I think all the crazy shit we're going to get is going to be PSX.
But PSX is too close to holiday if it's coming out this year. That's my thought.
I don't think
it's
I don't think it's about that though. I don't think this is about Sony saying this is what's ready for Christmas. I think it's them saying this is what's going to keep you going through next year. And I think it's like they already have enough out there knowledge-wise of what's going on at the end of this year. I think PSX is a time for them to celebrate the year they've had, but then also be like, okay, so remember PSVR, like we had all those things coming out, now they're out, like Skyrim or whatever, but here's what's next. And hopefully we'll see Move 2s, hopefully we'll see
I don't think we'll see
VIP
Move 2s.
you're talking about in terms of something a lot bigger. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to say the
Crash
least.
Bandicoot VR. Could you imagine being in that tornado
That
when
would
you spin?
suck,
That would make you throw up.
That would make you dizzy real fast.
Yeah. So to answer the question you asked, I think this is just Sony getting themselves set up for the future and getting them ramped up, ready for the next wave of technology that's coming through that we see right now. And it's the same thing. Like, to me, PS4 Pro was the first start of that in 4K, and then obviously Xbox with the Xbox One X and Xbox One S did it as well, because they understood that the consumer line for most people is probably X amount of money on a TV. Well, most people then, once it hits that dollar amount or below, are going to start buying those devices. So they need to make sure they get ahead of it, because that way when somebody has it, they won't jump to another console because they don't have it, but they do. So, I mean, when Xbox came out, the selling point for it was 4K at the same price. Like, that was their selling point. And it was like, why is the PS4 Pro $100 more and all this kind of stuff? And I thought that was, as much as you can say whatever you want about Xbox, I think that was an ingenious way of marketing that, because it's like you pay nothing more and you get 4K and HDR.
Smart.
So
cool. Well, thanks for answering the question, and thank you guys at home for thinking about it and how to answer it too. We'd love to hear what you think about the current situation with the new updates to the PSVR unit, and of course the news on the moves, and anything else that we've talked about today, because there's been a lot of stuff in the news, a lot of big stuff, Andrew House leaving, all that kind of stuff.
it's a little news.
Yeah, and then also like maybe what you're looking forward to seeing at Paris Games Week, which is creeping up on us slowly. But
October 30th, I believe, is when their I believe that's their presentation is October 30th, the day before Halloween.
Cool. There you go. Maybe it's a spooky presentation.
No, because they wouldn't do that, because then it wouldn't be ready to go, and people are like, That's the reaction of
everyone just goes,
yeah.
So anyway, that has been a Codename Morpheus for this week, and thank you so much again for joining us as always. And we look forward to seeing you next week, or potentially the week after, depending on how things kind of fly for next week. We'll keep you updated and in the loop. If not, don't worry. We will get some nice content filmed and put together for you, and we'll have plenty of things to fill the space. So we love you guys on audio. We love you guys on video. Thanks a lot for watching, guys. And as always,
Welcome to the second level.
bye-bye.
It ain't no